Hello again. We are Geese Assembled, and today me and Susan are talking another Indiana Jones movie, or as it says behind Susan's head, Diana Jones. Uh, it's a relative. It's a relative of Dr. Jones, Diana. Um,
Gender swap.
uh, but we are talking the 2008 movie, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Now, this movie is like Marmite with some of the fans. Some love it, some hate it. For me personally, I don't understand all the hate it gets. For me, it's just another indie movie, another high octane adventure movie, um, just set in a later era in the early 50s? Is it?
Yep.
50, yeah, early 50s. Um, of course, starring Harrison Ford as the hero of the movie, and we get the return of Marion, who originally appeared in Raiders back in the day. I think she's down there below somewhere. Um, next day, okay, go there she is. So let's go over to Susan with our opening thoughts on the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
All right. This is a story of this is basically a story of John Hurt leading Indiana Jones on a great adventure.
Yeah,
And it is it's a story of some archaeology that ends up being a science fiction story, much like Quatermass or you know, Stargate, Doctor Who, bunch of stuff.
yeah.
There's a lot of archaeology that ends up being science fiction.
Well, it was back in the 50s. UFO sightings. Well, it began in the 40s, but back in the 50s, they were at the height, wasn't it? It was UFO sightings nearly on a daily basis.
That's true.
So you can understand why Spielberg and Lucas went down that route for this movie, because it was set in that era.
Yep.
I've got no problems with that, me personally. But back to you, Susan.
Yeah, I know. I mean, uh, there isn't a set formula, but if it starts off with archaeology and ends up in space, it's just beautiful to me. Um, for all intents and purposes, has a lot of class. And let's see, Indiana Jones and Marion um, are separated, but apparently they've at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, they must have gotten busy a bit because
I say.
because
Like
suddenly
Jimmy Kimmel.
there's a Shia LaBeouf looking kid um, who is named Mutt Williams, but Williams was just his stepfather's name. He was actually born Henry Jones III, which is great. And then they called him Mutt because, they named him after another dog.
The clue was there.
The clue is there. And it's fun, the romance, the rekindled romance between Marion and Indiana. And and it was basically Indiana Jones versus the Russians.
No, I've got no problems with that either.
Yeah, there was an atomic test in southern Utah, but it was actually supposed to be in Area 51, down in down in New Mexico, but who knows? Or Arizona. I don't know where exactly Area 51 is. But all I say is that we better storm there because, like, they've got stuff. I know they do. No, I'm just kidding.
Storm Area 51.
Storm Area 51. Oh, it's a good story. Kate Blanchett plays this Russian badass. Just amazing, like a super soldier for the KGB.
And it was good to see. I say this is the fourth movie in the franchise, but it was good to see they kept, like they did in the last movie, Last Crusade, a strong female character as a villain, as one of the main villain.
Yeah.
Because it worked so well last time.
Yeah.
They've gone on that route again. Yeah.
Yep. She was quite intimidating and well played by Kate.
There she is. Yeah.
And her name was Irina, but they just. And then there was also Ray Winstone.
Oh yeah.
There was I'll leave like the cast to go into for Lee, but this, I mean, it was fun, and so yeah, that's my opening thoughts. Over to you, Lee.
Yeah. I mean, some years had. I mean, the last movie before this was 1989. This was 2008. So there's a few years in between. Of course, Harrison Ford has aged, and I think this is why they set it in the 50s as well. Just so because he'd aged. So let's do it in the 50s. Let's have the atomic age. Let's have Area 51 sort of vibe. And I just loved that sort of premise of this the movie. And we can't. If it's the 50s, we can't really have the German, the Nazis. Let's have the Russians, the Cold War. So it all comes together. Great, putting it all together. And then you also get the legends of the crystal skulls. What were found in? Where was the found?
In the Amazon.
Was it? Yeah, I mean, there were real crystal skulls found. If you ever watched Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World, there was always crystal skulls on those.
Oh.
You never seen that TV show?
No.
But early 80s, Arthur C. Clarke used to present a TV show called. It had two series. The first series was Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World, and each episode was, could be Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster, crystal skulls, stuff like that. It was really interesting to watch. So look it up, Susan.
Oh,
well. But going back to the movie, yeah. Say he had Ray Winston as Indy's sidekick in this, who turns out to be a double agent, of course.
Yeah.
All those years working side by side.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we hear of Ray's character, because he's never really mentioned in the movies before.
Right.
So so between Last Crusade and this, they must have met up at some point. You have the return of Marion Ravenwood, played superbly again by Karen Allen, a brilliant actress. As you say, that you've got Shia LaBeouf as Mutt. You've got John Hurt as Oxley, a professor who's lost his mind because the skull has
downloaded some stuff,
implanted itself into his head, and yeah. We don't have Sean Connery in this, and we don't have Denham Elliott. Denham Elliott passed away in 1992. Sean Connery was still alive when this movie was made, but I guess there was no role, or they couldn't get him by then, or had he retired by then?
I don't know.
He may have retired by then. So in this movie, both of those characters have passed away. But we do get the superb Jim Broadbent
Yep,
as the
new college dean.
as Marcus Brody's sort of replacement in the college, who stands up for Indy as did Marcus.
Right.
Yeah, because Indy, they didn't want Indy working there. They wanted rid of him. So he resigned as well. What I mean, that's a friend.
That is.
But I mean, for me as well, I think they could have used Jim Broadbent more in this.
Yeah.
He always pops up in movies. I mean, he is a leading actor, but he always sometimes pops up in movies, and he's only in it for 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. And you think, oh, that's a shame. He could have, they could have used him a little bit longer in this, and I think they could have used him a lot more in this.
Yeah, but, like his appearance in the Narnia series.
Yeah. But here, what can you do? I mean, if there's a script there, and that's the character there, and he's cast. It's one of those things. It doesn't stray away from what we know from the first three movies. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, the ending is so ridiculous. UFOs, aliens." But as I was saying to Susan the other day, Raiders of the Lost Ark, you had the Ark of the Covenant with the Angel of Death, right? Okay, and then in Temple of Doom, you had the stones with those magical
stones.
Yeah, with the magical powers. In the third one, you had the Holy Grail, what would grant you immortality, and people can't grasp. You've had those three examples of sort of ridiculous endings of the movies, and people can't grasp UFOs and alien. I just don't get why they don't.
The cool thing about the aliens was that it was, as they joined together, it became one fleshed out.
It was a gestalt. Yeah, it was a gestalt, wasn't it?
Yeah, like one of those grays.
Yeah.
Like that you find talked about when you talk about Area 51, the UFO crash and Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah, I just don't get why people hate on that sort of element of the movie. I mean, because for the first three movies, you're still in the fantasy world as well, aren't you? Really.
And the chase scene to get there, get to the thing is nothing if not super dramatic.
It drops 3 times. What does it mean? That was so funny. There's the second one.
Yeah, that was shot at let's see, it's in that globetrotting part.
I mean, the scenery of those waterfalls was just amazing.
Yeah.
And the design of the crystal skull as well. To be honest, I don't know if that's taken from actual drawings or writings from historical text, but it was a great design of the skull.
Yeah. It was in Iguazu Falls in Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil. I mean, what a beautiful, beautiful spot.
Well, I've said before that they always pick some beautiful places just to shoot the scenery. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I got that out of this Indiana Jones Ultimate Guide that I just found it.
That is Susan's most treasured Bible at the moment now.
I
She's
just was so surprised that the weekend that I was that you and I were going to talk about these is that the weekend that they presented this in the store in the magazine rack. I mean,
is it a one-off? Is it a one-off then?
yeah, it's a one-off.
Cool.
And yeah, so the thing that was fantastic about that was that cliff, like the coming out of the jungle and then right along the cliff, the cut bank of that huge.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I mean, hair raising fun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And let's talk about the humor then too.
Well, okay then. The humour in this is still here. I don't think it's as much as it was in The Last Crusade, because Harrison hasn't got Connery to, bounce off.
Right.
But in this, the humour is still there, and they do play on Indy being older, where the humour comes from that.
Yeah.
Him misjudging his leap with his whip onto the van. He thought it was closer, and he went flying backwards through the windscreen and stuff like that. And also as well, in that warehouse scene, you do have a nod to Raiders.
Yeah.
That smash crate.
Where that crate breaks open.
There's the Ark. If only the Russians had seen that.
Right.
But yeah, the humour is still there. But this is more of this movie is taking Mutt along on the journey, and then him finding out that it's his son, and then all he was telling him before has totally changed. You're going back to school. Listen to your dad. That was before I knew I was your dad.
And that does, he as much as like he and his father had shared the woman in Last Crusade, father and son struggled to share anything in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because suddenly Indy was all super fatherly.
Yeah.
He became sort of a persnickety guy, which is so different from his father. And so that was fun too.
I mean, the fear of the snakes was brought back in this as well, when he was him and Marion was sinking in it wasn't quicksand, it was
dry sand or
dry sand, and Mutt just threw in the thing to grab hold of to pull him out, and it was a snake. It's a snake. Well, don't call it a snake. Well, what do you want me to call it? It's a snake. Call it a rope. So the little things like that. It was just good. It was good to see Indiana Jones back in action after so many years. I'm just trying to find out how much this movie made.
And there was when he got blown up in the atomic blast and was in the refrigerator, and everything else was getting vaporized except for that one refrigerator. It was pushed off into the distance.
A lot of people say, "Oh, that's so ridiculous," but it's a fantasy
Yeah, right. I know. I
Movie.
just think that was funny. It was like
Yeah,
the bouncing refrigerator.
just rolling down the landscape.
Yeah, and and yeah, trying to find the skull with all the gunpowder and stuff. Anything that was like
Oh yeah, all the magnetic
yeah,
element in the warehouse. That was a good idea. That.
yeah, and then let's see, there was the fun and
Well, I've just looked at the box office for this movie. Right. Temple of Doom was the least successful in the franchise.
okay,
Uh, then it was Raiders,
okay,
and Last Crusade came in second. This grossed more, so this was a big success. This grossed nearly 800 million,
and how much was it made for?
185.
Oh, not bad.
Not bad. Temple of Doom, just for Temple of Doom, made about 300 million.
Wow,
And in between the 300 million and what this raked in, there was Raiders and Last Crusade. So this was the biggest earner out of the franchise so far,
wow,
and people hate on it. I don't, you know what I mean?
yeah. Like last night, Alex and I were arguing about well, he was comparing it to Fast and the Furious Part 4, like how the physics of everything just kind of went out the window. And that is really the big start of when the Fast and the Furious lost all connection with the physical world. And that's fun. I mean, for a fantasy or a
Yeah,
adventure story, it can be fun. The
you
thing,
don't. You don't have to be set in reality, do you? You don't have everything to be.
but there was a lot of reality in this. The
Yeah, yeah.
fight in the diner with the college greasers versus sportos. That was
Brilliant. That a brilliant bike chase there as well,
yeah, like through the center of the library.
under the table.
Yeah,
There's more to education, archaeology than reading a book. Get out.
mhm.
Oh yeah, great scene that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was funny. I mean, that was a big visual sort of
visual
sort of
gag. Yeah.
sort of a gag. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
But
just-
it made you warm. It made you warm to the character of Mutt,
yeah, you did.
because to begin with, you're thinking, oh, I'm not so sure. I mean, I'm not so keen on the actor, but the character of Mutt, by the end of the movie, you like him,
Yeah.
especially when he's swinging through the jungle on the on the vines with all the monkeys.
Oh, I know. That was awesome.
All that needed was the Tarzan call, and it had made my day.
Oh, but they do that. They do that too much. Those
I
Disney
know,
people.
I know.
I mean, they did it in what,
It,
what was it?
that
Revenge of the Sith when Chewie was swinging on the vine. No, they didn't need to put Tarzan scream in Kashyyyk for crying out loud. But they did have a lot of Wilhelm screams in this.
yeah, I suppose the Tarzan call would have fit more better in this movie
Yeah,
than a Star Wars movie.
I know. It was out of hand. It was so different. Anyway, it was in.
I was disappointed. There was a disappointment at the end for Kate Blanchett's character. Her demise was a bit of a letdown for me. I thought she would have gone out in a better way instead of just sort of sort of burning up and then just disintegrating into nothing.
I don't think that she was. I think that she was joining into that, going into the vortex.
So she wanted knowledge, didn't she?
Or so she can go space traveling as an
Well, it was just
incorporeal being.
I thought maybe I thought she was killed because the way she sort of screamed.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, but there again, I keep forgetting Ray Winston's character's name now. He flies off into the spinning vortex, but before that, he says to Indy, "It's okay. I'll be fine." So, because John Haight's character Oxley was saying it's another. What did he say? Another universe, another
multi-dimensional. They're multi-dimensional beings.
So maybe they were being pulled back into their own world. So maybe Kate Blanchett and Ray Winston went that way.
Yeah. So that they can have plenty of conversations and stuff, and in their incorporeal form, wandering around the cosmos.
Yeah.
But then the fact that it took out that all the land had been built around the spaceship reminded me so much of Doctor Who, because like especially in like the one where they're fighting the vampires, I think it's called
State of Decay.
State of Decay, and they've turned the ship into a medieval castle.
Yeah. I suppose, as we've been said before, movies, TV shows, they just pilfer from each other, don't they? They take a little bit here, take a little bit there, add something of their own, and mix it all up, and people think it's original.
And there's characters and stuff that are different, but I just thought that it was a beautiful scene with like the what did you call it? A gestalt?
The Gestalt, like it was one. It was one. A Gestalt is it one mind in one. I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean. The Gestalt, and it comes back together.
The sum of the parts is greater than the whole, or the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Yeah.
But it was. I enjoyed this movie. It was different from the three before. But if you start repeating yourself, which I'm a bit dubious about the fifth Indy film what they're making now.
Yeah, it's not titled or anything, so there's no.
But it's going to be set before Kingdom Skull because the de-aging Harrison Ford, and it's got Nazis in it, so we know it's in the war. So it's not 1950s; it could be the 1940s or 30s again.
Yeah, could be.
So they're going back. This franchise is just all over the place.
Yeah, they don't number things in order, and
but I think Karen Allen's in it as well.
Cool.
But if that's the case, Kingdom Skull, she hadn't seen him for how many years?
I know. And that was the challenge with the audio adventure that we listened to, because it was fan fiction, but it came before
this.
So it could, because they don't talk about their baby.
But I mean, I don't know if how true it is that Karen Allen's in it, but I have heard rumours she is. I know Mads Mikkelsen's in it, which is a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
So hoping he's going to be playing a brilliant villain. It'll be interesting how they do this one, because Spielberg's not directing the next one, the new one, is he?
I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
As far as I know, he's not directing it. He may be producer along with Lucas. I don't know, but as far as I know, this will be the first one that's not directed by Spielberg.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting. So hopefully they're going to keep the Spielberg feel to it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, anything else you'd like to say about the Crystal Skull?
Yeah, I really miss John Hurt. He did, you know, in this one he was so he chewed the scenery because
He did, but a brilliant actor like that as well. He didn't have much to do.
He didn't.
He didn't have much to say.
No.
Okay, yes, his character, his head had gone. You know, there was, but you think a great actor like that, and you get him to play the character like that.
I know.
I know. It was good to see him, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
So shall we go to final say and score?
Yeah.
So, Susan, what is your final say and score on Diana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
Come on. For crying out loud. Okay.
You know that you do know in about 5 years' time that is going to be the next franchise. They're going to change Indy into a female and call her Diana Jones.
That's possible.
We've called it. We've called it.
All right. Timestamp today, the 26th of June, 2021. At 3:24 p.m. Eastern Time, 8:34 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, and so there. Okay, so I enjoyed this. I do love the Crystal Skull stuff. There was a great Stargate episode with the Crystal Skull in it, and instead of causing people to go bonkers, it caused them to phase out of the space-time continuum into another one, which is another thing that a crystal skull could do. Who knows what a crystal skull could do? But apparently there's a lot of them floating around, and that's fun too. And I never saw the Arthur C. Clarke, so I'll give it 9 crystal skulls or crystal skeletons out of 10. And
I'm here.
And the enjoyment of this is not diminished in the least. Oh, Lee is showing us his crystal skull behind it.
There, Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World.
Oh, I see.
With a crystal skull on the front. That's series 1.
Okay.
Then series 2 is called Arthur C. Clarke's World of Strange Powers.
Oh, wow.
So, and I think there's, it was like it was a series on every week. Every episode was a different subject.
Is it BBC?
No, it's ITV.
Oh, okay.
So you might be able to find it on YouTube or Daily Motion.
I like your skull. The skull behind you too.
That one. There we go. That one always wakes me up on a night. It glows in the dark.
Oh, fun.
Scares the life out of me when I wake up. Yeah. Right.
So your final say and score now.
I enjoyed it. I can't understand the hate for this movie. It's just an action fantasy adventure movie. Take it for what that is. It's Indiana Jones. On what? There you go. Um, it's so for me. I enjoyed it personally. I'm going to give it 10 greys out of 10. And that is our little review of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Please, guys, go check it out. See what let us know what you think of it. Please leave a comment below on our videos. If you're watching this on YouTube, yeah, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe to the channel, press the bell notification button. And it didn't go ding, did it? There we are. Yeah, and you will get notified every time we put up a new video. So we talk movies, TV, audio dramas across any genre. And if you'd like to be in our cast like this or in our group, leave us a message. We'll get back to you and we'll see if we can get you in. You just have to be 18, tablet, laptop, camera, microphone, and you're in. And of course, you've got to be slightly insane, but not a lot. Because sanity also comes into doing a cast. You've got to be. What's the percentage of the sanity and insanity in this group, Susan?
I'd say 85% insane, 15% sane.
That's about right. Yeah, that's a good judgment of our members and past members. So
So how many points did you give it?
I gave it 10 greys out of 10.
Oh, you gave it 10. Okay.
I just like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I guess that's obvious.
Be it Nazis, be it Russians, be it a cult, be it aliens.
Right.
I don't care. It's Indiana Jones. It's Harrison Ford. It's Spielberg. It's Lucas.
Yeah.
Can what could go wrong? Well, apart from Howard the Duck. There we go. I like Howard the Duck.
Right.
So until next time, guys, be safe and also keep an eye out there in the stars. Keep watching because they're out there.
Yeah.
Bye for now.